I think that four-seamer could be a swing and miss pitch for Graveman. Really, really intrigued to see what Graveman brings to the table this year.
Right. And the other thing, just sitting here when listening to you talk, is that last year Mariners they didn't have a lot of guys that threw hard,
Mm.
in the starting
There was a lot of
rotation. And
Wade
now,
LeBlanc
right,
guys like that
right,
around. Yep.
yeah, Tommy Malone and Marco, and even Kikuchi didn't have the velocity that I think some expected. But this
Mm.
year, most of these guys, other than Marco, are in the mid 90s, right? They're pretty close to
Sure.
it, 94, 95, 96. So there's a difference in the team in the roster also. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch these guys, see what they develop into. Graveman they have for another year if they want to keep him. And then, of course, what is Taiwan going to be? And is he somebody they're going to try to hold on to or want to hold on to after the season? And of course, the two young guys, what are they going to be? We've talked about them before. I know you said before you think Justin Dunn has a little more work to do. And that really Justice Sheffield he should be ready to go. He has nothing left to prove in the minors.
Right. Yeah. And the thing with Sheffield, and obviously still a developing player, certainly not established or anything like that. But there's really no reason for him to go back to the minors at this point. He needs to get that work done at the major league level. And while Dunn's behind Sheffield there and a little more raw in terms of developing that third pitch and commanding the fastball and getting to where he can throw that slider, which is at least an average pitch and occasionally even better than that. But with Sheffield throwing the two-seamer now, something he's had in his back pocket for years but never really had a need to throw it because he was blowing 96 by people. He has to get to a slider and his changeup, which are two actually pretty good pitches. And sometimes that slider is a swing and miss pitch, but you have to get to that pitch. So Sheffield throwing the two-seamer a little bit to keep the damage down on the fastball to get more fastball value. It's going to be really interesting to see how Sheffield does that and then how Justin Dunn works that third pitch in, effectively. Dunn, I don't have a ton of confidence in getting through 5, 6, 7 innings on any sort of regular basis this year. Sheffield a little bit more. Those first four, though, I think we're going to see some pretty good performances. Marco's going to do his thing. Walker coming back from injury early. I'm not really sure what to expect, but he was up to 94 in camp. So it seems like the arm strength is there. Will the command be there? We'll find out. I think everybody knows my feelings on Yusei Kikuchi at this point. I'm kind of bullish on Kikuchi. I think he's a guy who's very I wrote in that piece this morning. He's very self-aware, understands what he does, why it doesn't work, why it works, seeks out answers. He's very aggressive. He's a pretty good athlete. I don't think he gets credit for being a good athlete. So the changes they made to his delivery shouldn't be something that he works on a whole lot. It should just be part of what he does now. And he's shown flashes in camp 1 and then camp 2 of being the better version of what we saw a year ago. So that's your rotation. I think I expect Logan Gilbert to get some time. I don't know how much time that's going to be. And injuries, obviously, Luke will dictate whether they need to call up some other guys. And there's tons of guys, at the alternate training site down at Cheney Stadium that can help them in the rotation. And there's even a couple of guys on their staff that are going to pitch out of the bullpen. And we'll talk about some of those guys here in a minute. But other than Logan Gilbert, though, is there a young guy that stands out? And Dunn and Sheffield are already there. Gilbert's kind of the guy. I mean, Hancock's not going to be there. George Kirby's probably not going to get that look. Maybe an LJ Newsome is a guy that can come up and get a start or two, probably more out of necessity than, hey, we want to get him some development. But am I missing anybody there in the rotation?
I don't think so. I was thinking about Logan Gilbert and wondering whether they would bring him up. And when you look at the plan, they were pushing before all this happened. The shutdown happened. There was an expectation by now Logan Gilbert would probably be in the rotation. So,
because here we are in late July, and
right. And so the Mariners, in their minds, were expecting to start his service time clock this year anyway. Mm-hmm. The question is, do they feel comfortable with his development at this point, since he didn't have half a season in the minors to, harness everything or to refine everything. So that obviously that's up to them, what they see out of him between now and whenever they decide to bring him up.